Hi Stampers, it's Nancy from Stampin Shout. Welcome back. Today's day 5 of our Winter Owl Bundle tutorials. So here is the bundle. We have a stamp set and we have dies. There's 10 dies in here. Today we're going to make a card with this owl and this die cut. So let me just get this all out of the way and I'll show you what we're going to make. Before I show you today's card, let's do a little recap of all the cards we made this week. So it's called the Winter Owls bundle, but we made a fall card. So we made 2 versions, one with the big wings and then one with the shorter wings. So that's your choice, either one. They're both gorgeous. Then we made a Halloween card and we made a elegant Christmas card with a lot of shine and glimmer. I love these little sequins. Those are new in the new catalog this year. And we made this yesterday. This is our Dutch fold card. I love this. I love how it shows off the designer series paper. And again, this designer series paper is called One Horse Open Sleigh. So that's our Dutch fold card. So now let's make today's card. And I'm so excited because it's a brand new card for me. It's called a rocker card. And here it is. So it doesn't open, but it rocks like this. Whoops. So let me bring in the supplies. We're using crumb cake as our base, and we're using the pretty One Horse Open Sleigh designer series paper. That's the paper that I used, and that's how it started out. And I'm going to show you exactly how to cut it so you don't make a mistake. And I'm going to show you my mistake when we get to that point. That's how you learn, right? Okay, so we have a large circle in crumb cake, a small circle, we have a large circle in crumb cake, another circle in crumb cake, same size circle in white. We have a little bit smaller circle in the designer series paper, and then I have a half circle in the designer series paper. So I just want to talk about the designer series paper and how to cut it out if it has a pattern. So this definitely has a pattern. There's little trees on here. And the way you want to do that is you want to have your pattern facing you in the correct position. And you take the die. And again, I'm going to tell you what dies to use to cut out the designer series paper. I'm going to number them, and I'm also going to tell you the inches. So you double check that when you're making yours. So you put the DSP. Let me show you the card here. So this is the smaller circle that we're cutting out, and then the half circle we're cutting out. And then the next circle that you're going to cut out that way. And if you don't, you're going to make a boo-boo like I did, and my trees are upside down on this piece only. So definitely take a picture of that. That's how you want to lay your circles when you cut out your designer series paper if it has a pattern. The smaller one goes down here in the left corner, and then cut out the larger one from the top half. If you happen to hear some noise in the background, they are tearing apart our street. We're going to get a new street in front of us, so there's some big booms going on, and the house is shaking. So a lot going on here. Okay, so I went ahead and I stamped my owl ahead of time. And now I'm going to color it in, and I'm going to use the Stampin' Blends, and I'm using dark crumb cake. I started coloring it in, and I'm just going to show you, but I didn't do anything fancy. I basically colored his feathers in. Here he is right here. And I left a lot of the white showing because I wanted to imitate a winter owl, and I just think that white owls with that little bit of brown on it looks really, really pretty on this card. So I just colored it in. I colored in his feathers and the little dots, and I basically just touched all the dots, and however it came out was fine. And maybe I just colored it in a little bit more. So I'm kind of dotting where the dots are and then coloring in the feathers. And the last thing I did was I kind of outlined it with this blender pen, just real lightly, real thin line. Okay, now I'm just going to cut him out with the die, and then we'll finish up our card. Okay, so there is our owl. And now we're going to do a little bit more stamping. I'm going to bring in this white circle. I'm going to stamp our sentiment on there. And I'm using the sentiment that comes from the stat. I'm using the sentiment that comes in the stamp set that says, "May you have time to enjoy the quiet moments of this season." I'm going to stamp that. I'm going to stamp it in the real red. Then I have a little strip here. This is about a 1/2 inch strip. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment "Sending Love." And I'm going to do that in early espresso. Okay, now I'm just going to banner the edges, the ends of my sentiment. So I'm going to cut it down to about the size that I think I want it. I'm just going to cut through the middle, and then from the corner to that cut, just like that. So it's going to be just like that. Again, these paper snips are really, really great. These are Stampin' Up paper snips. Okay, so now let's put this together. So we have our large circle, and what I did with these, I'm going to have the sizes on there that on my project sheet as a square. So it's about a 5 1/2 or 5 3/4 inch square that I started with, and then I cut out the deckled circle and I just folded it in half, just like that. So it's really easy to fold in half, so don't worry about that. So there's your little half circle, and what you need to do on this is kind of look at it and dry fit it. And I want to cut this down a little bit more because I want a little bit of the crumb cake to show all the way around. So I'm going to cut this about 1/8 of an inch smaller on that straight edge. And you can line up the circle here on a line, and that will give you a nice straight edge. Of course, if you don't have this cutter, you can do that on any cutter that you have. It'll work same way. Let's see how this is. Yep, that's good. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and glue these two circles together. I'm going to glue our half circle on the front, and then we'll come back and finish our card. Okay, now I'm going to take this circle and I'm going to attach it to our card, and I'm just going to put glue on the bottom half on the back and then attach it right to the base of our card. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to take the white circle and I'm going to glue it on the back, and I'm going to line up the top. Okay, on the front, we're going to bring our sentiment in. And I have I also cut a little tiny strip of red. That's real red. And I'm going to center it, and then I'm going to shorten it down a little bit. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right behind my sentiment. And then I'm just going to attach this in the center. And then I'm just going to cut it down. Okay, I'm going to bring in some dimensionals and pop this up. Now I'm going to pop up the owl in the front of our card. Like that. Now I'm going to tie a quick bow and then attach that with a glue dot. I'm just going to tie it on my fingers here. So I'm going to start like that and wrap it around, bring it through my fingers, up through the middle, and then through this little loop. And then I'm just going to pull down. Got a pretty little bow there. And there is a rocker card. What do you think? So you really can't open it because we attached this. Now there's an option, if you didn't want to put this on the back, you could put a half circle on the inside and then it would open. But there it is. Isn't that pretty? So we bring in all our cards, take one more last look at all of our pretty winter owl cards. I hope you enjoyed them all. I hope you were inspired. Leave me comments, share my videos with your friends, and I will see you next week. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.